This is GTV. Always a sure bet. There are lots of things that, over the course of the last 50 years or so, basically the entire timeline of gaming history, have always intrigued me. Sure, there's the games themselves, the memories, the lineage that forged the present day. But it's all the incidental, possibly accidental, side industries that are created out of the mix. You know, the people and companies who enter the industry to, of course, make money, but also leave their mark during their time, for better or worse. And to me, there's nothing more fascinating than that of the video game celebrity. They may have produced some games, starred in a few, or endorsed them, but there they are, soaking up 15 minutes of fame. Over the years, many have come and gone. One of those pioneers had quite a serendipitous journey getting there. Ken Uston, the gamer gambler. This is his story. Kenneth Senzo Usui was born on New York's Long Island in 1935, the son of immigrants from Japan and Austria. At a young age, Kenneth's talents began to shine. It was discovered he had an IQ of 169 and excelled at mathematics and games of chance, in addition to traditional sports. At age 20, he graduated magna cum laude from Yale, majoring in economics. Afterwards, he earned an MBA from Harvard and also served his country for 8 years as a reservist in the United States Army. Kenneth's career flourished in the world of business and finance. By the end of the 1960s, he was the senior vice president of the Pacific Coast Stock Exchange and was known professionally as Ken Uston. It was a life anyone would be envious of, but for Ken, it wasn't enough. He grew bored and was in need of change and excitement. By the 1970s, especially in California, the culture had changed. The clothes, the music, the society were all freewheeling and wild. Ken would shed his uptight suit and tie image. He would soon take up a new career as well. For recreation, Ken would often visit casinos and gamble. His high level of intelligence gave him an advantage at card games, especially blackjack. He was able to count cards, the skill of keeping track of what cards had already been used at the table, and calculating the odds of what the remaining cards would be. Ken was successful at the tables, bringing in some side money and expanding his social circle. In 1974, he crossed paths with professional gambler Al Francesco. Al took Ken under his wing, teaching him strategies and including him in one of the nation's first professional gambling teams. The team comprised 7 people. 6 of them would sit at separate tables, counting cards while making modest bets. Nobody let on that the players all knew each other. The 7th member, called the big player, stayed off to the side and monitored the action. When a table's card count reached a point that an upcoming hand was guaranteed to win, the team member would signal to the big player, who would then sit down and make one huge bet. If all went well, he would win the bet and take off with a huge windfall. After the big win, the team would quickly leave the casino and then split the winnings. To those who were unaware, it looked like a random person who just had a stroke of luck. Ken started on Al's team as a card counter, but was soon promoted to the big player. Card counting was obviously not welcomed by the casino owners. The legality of the tactic was ambiguous, but Ken, Al, and the team were often ejected from casinos when management got suspicious. The team continued on with the use of elaborate disguises to conceal their identities and keep gambling. Throughout the mid-1970s, Ken Uston's profile rose among casino owners and other gamblers. The winnings earned from Al's team were so large, tens of thousands of dollars each night, that Ken would soon quit his job and become a full-time professional blackjack player. The thrill of being the big player and walking off with a huge take wasn't enough for Ken Uston. He saw another opportunity where no one else had staked a claim. He took his experiences and skills from card counting and published them. In 1977, he authored the book, The Big Player, which told the exploits that he and the team had gone through, and also gave away the secrets of card counting. At the time, the public had little knowledge of these strategies. The book became a bestseller. Those who were curious of how someone could get rich using mathematical formulas picked up the book. The big player caused a rift between Ken and Al, who was unaware of the book until it was a few days away from publication. Ken would part ways with Al's team and lead one of his own. Casino owners were now aware of card counters working in teams. The book spawned imitators who thought that they too could beat the house. The game would never be the same again. Amidst all the fallout, Ken Uston became a bona fide celebrity. The rocket ride to the top nearly came crashing down. In January 1979, Ken Uston was caught card counting at the Resorts Casino in Atlantic City. Gambling had only been legal there for a few months. Though no statute was written that card counting was specifically illegal, the Resorts Casino banned Ken for life. Soon after, other casinos in Atlantic City banned him as well. The expulsion from Atlantic City gave casino owners in other places a stronger case to ban card counters. Ken fired back with a lawsuit, which took 3 years to litigate and reach a decision. In the meantime, his gambling career was on the sidelines. After his time in Atlantic City, Ken went back to California and purchased a Space Invaders arcade machine to play as a way to pass the time. He had already been a fan of video games, appreciating the skill and brainpower required to master them. Space Invaders appealed to Ken in particular due to the mathematics involved with the number of shots fired on screen affecting the high score. He would spend hours a day playing and mastering the game. Ken would often visit local arcades to check out the newest games. When he first discovered Pac-Man, he was instantly enthralled. He quickly learned that while everything on screen looks like it's happening randomly, there is a pattern to it all, and unlocking that secret was a sure way to amazing high scores. Though he could do well for himself, easily cracking 100,000, he found that young children were even better than him. He befriended 2 boys, Tommy and Raymond, who taught Ken all they had learned. In almost no time after, Ken had mastered Pac-Man inside and out. It was during this time that an idea struck. Ken got to work on writing a book that would give advice, hints, and strategies to get the best Pac-Man scores possible. In only 4 days, he completed the book, Mastering Pac-Man, published in late 1981. The book was in-depth, dissecting every detail of the game, providing multiple patterns depending on if speed or score was your goal. Within weeks of publication, the book was a #1 bestseller. Mastering Pac-Man would receive multiple printings with updates for Fast Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man. Ken would continue on with a new set of books in 1982, covering all the popular arcade and home video games at the time. More books would follow the next year. Suddenly, the Blackjack Master, a man already infamous, was reaching a new audience. Children who loved video games and were able to improve their skills by reading Ken's books. While all of this was happening, the court case against the Resorts Casino had reached a decision. The State Supreme Court of New Jersey had ruled in favor of Ken Uston, stating that card counting was not cheating if a player could remember the values of cards that had been used in a deck or a shoe. A casino could not ban such an individual from entry. Ken was vindicated. His ban from the Resorts Casino was lifted, and in effect from all other casinos as well. Though he was once again able to freely gamble at casinos, Ken Uston never went back to the life of a professional blackjack player. The mystique was gone. The techniques had been exposed. Casinos were wise to the game, and the scene was filled with imitators and pretenders who dreamed of living the flashy, high-roller lifestyle Ken had popularized, but would never be able to replicate in the exact same manner. But Ken had a new career as a video game master. The fame he had received from his books led Ken to have his name attached to some video games. Ken Uston's Ultimate Blackjack and Poker was released for the ColecoVision in 1982. The game plays exactly like the title says, offering the choice of either casino card game. Ken's image is not featured in the game, nor on the packaging. The only character in the game is the dealer, who goes by the name of Max. In the blackjack portion, the game offers a help function. Ken would offer his advice on what move to make next. Any mention of actual casino gambling or card counting strategies were not present in the game, most likely in an effort to not promote gambling to players who were under the age of 21. A second game followed, one that delivered the strategy that first appeared in Ken's books from the 1970s. Ken Uston's Professional Blackjack was released for the Apple II, Commodore 64, Atari, and IBM PC computers in 1982. The game offers a choice of 70 real casinos. The number of decks, the insurance bets, and every other detail is accurately represented in the game, according to each casino's own specific house rules. There are 4 main strategies that the player can practice to hone their card counting abilities. A series of drills advise the player what to do, depending on which cards have been used and what is currently on the table. When playing just for fun, the player can also create their own casino, where you can set the rules in any manner that you like, and play with up to 7 human or computer-controlled players. This was followed up with one more game in 1984, Ken Uston's Puzzle Panic for the Commodore 64 and Atari home computers. Puzzle Panic was designed by Ken himself, featuring 11 stages containing original puzzles the player must solve, with the help of a light bulb named Benny. Each successive stage increases in difficulty. In the final puzzle, the player must arrange the cryptic symbols in the correct order to finish the game. Puzzle Panic also had an amazing prize available for one lucky player. If you could complete the game, you could earn a chance to win a weekend in Atlantic City with Ken Uston himself. It is unknown if anyone ever won the contest. The success of these games raised Ken's profile of video game and computer expert even further, leading to Ken authoring an entire series of books covering the ins and outs of each popular computer system of the mid-1980s. While living the life of a celebrity in both blackjack and video games, Ken traveled the world working in various consultant roles, taking up residency in South Africa, Kuwait, and elsewhere. It was in Paris, France, where the story of the gamer gambler would unfortunately meet a sad, unexpected end. Ken Uston passed away on September 19, 1987, at the age of 52. The cause of death was officially listed as a heart attack, though some have questioned if his lifestyle or enemies made along the way had finally caught up to him. In the end, foul play was ruled out by French authorities. Ken Uston's life achievements were formally recognized in 2002. He was among the very first to be inducted into the Blackjack Hall of Fame. His contributions to the world of gaming, both at the arcade and the card table, have certainly left their mark. Ken Uston may be gone, but he is not forgotten.